I've taught you something very important about what do you call it? Agribusiness. Okay, agribusiness. How many qualities have I taught you? 3 qualities. What is it? Number 1, quality. You must aim at a quality crop. Number 2, quantity. Number 3, continuity. Those 3 factors are very key in order for you to succeed in agribusiness. You want the continuity all the time. You want to be in business, in the market all the time. You also want the quantity, because the more you have, the more you are able to get. And then, of course, you need quality. And that is what the Lord is interested in when we talk about the fruit of the Spirit. The Spirit is interested in the quality of the fruit. Is interested in the quality of the fruit. And is interested in continuity of the fruit. We are talking about the fruit of the Spirit. And is interested in the end result. Now, God as a divine husbandman, God is a farmer, longs to see his own beautiful character, qualities mirrored in his people. The end game, what the Lord is very interested in, is to see his quality, his character reflected in his children. When God created us at the beginning, he created us in his own image, perfect and distorted. But then sin happened. What happened? The image of God in his children was distorted because of sin. The Lord has been interested in restoration of his image in his children. That is the whole essence of the plan of salvation. It is to restore the image of God that was distorted by sin in Where there is love, there is what? Gentleness. Where there is love, there is what? Goodness. Where there is love, there is what? Faith. And where there is love, there is what? Meekness, which is the opposite of pride or humility. And where there is love, there is what? Temperance or self-control. These are manifestations of love. And this is what the Lord wishes to be reproduced in his children. Now, let me tell you something. There are 3 questions that I want us to ask ourselves as far as this topic is concerned. 3 questions that I want us to consider. Question number 1. Why does this fruit mean so much to God? Why does this fruit of the Spirit, and remember we are talking about how many fruits? 1, singular. Why is this fruit so important to God? That is one of the questions that I would like us to ask. Why does it mean so much? Why does it mean so much to God? Number 1, these are essential qualities of his own character. It is the photograph of God, of God's heart. This is what is the reflection of these characteristics is the mirror of God. If you want to see how God looks like, this is it. Are we together? Yes, this is how God looks like. These are the characteristics that they are essential qualities of his own character. They are the photograph of God's heart. They are photograph of God's heart. Number 2, these are the only qualities that will last forever. These are the only qualities that will last forever. They have no time limit. They are not limited to only this world of sin. They will exist even in eternity. These qualities will last forever because they are a reflection of God's character. And that is what he wishes his children to have. They will last forever. And number 3, character is the only transferable quality that we shall take from this world to the next. Are we together? The only thing that we shall take away from this world of sin. And by the way, this is very important for us to ponder. The only thing that we shall carry from this world of sin to the next. Welcome, Pastor Sitati. Very well. The only thing that we shall carry from this world to the next is what? Character. And I want that to sink. Think about it. To us. Let me tell you why. We are living in a world that is broken. There is a lot of brokenness in this world, especially in our relationships. Think about it. Families are broken as far as relationships are concerned, true or false. I don't know the situation of your family. I don't know the situation of your family this morning. But when I was a lecturer here, I remember having a student in of my classes that was doing very badly in class. And I was interested to know what was the reason for the poor grades. Give a cut, performs very poorly. Yes, she appeared like a very bright girl. So one time I called her to my office after a cut. And I asked her, what is the problem? Why are you performing so badly? And she told me, sir, I'm facing a very serious challenge because things are not well at home. The relationship between my father and mother is not good. In fact, as I am speaking with you now, they are not together. And that is affecting me greatly. And I could feel for her. And I realized that is a very common story with a lot of students. Brokenness in relationships. In workplaces, I have seen people who are not able to relate well as colleagues, Pastor. There's a lot of animosity. There's a lot of undercutting in places of work. Here in college, I don't know how it is with you. I have even seen, I was talking to some people yesterday, some young men I hosted in my home. I come from Parklands SDA Church, and one thing that we are blessed with is that Parklands is predominantly young people. In fact, that appears to be the destination of young people in the city. We have very many ex-KU students at the Parklands. The church is predominantly youth. So yesterday, my family hosted the camp meeting committee. We just finished the camp meeting, our camp meeting. We were at Moranga Teachers College. And I was telling Pastor that we had 1,100 members camping. What an experience. So being the elder in charge of the camp meeting, we decided to host the committee so that we can carry out a post-mortem on how the camp meeting was. So yesterday I had a group of young people, and when we were talking, I told them in Nairobi now the rent has gone very high. If you can be able to rent a room, a 2-bedroom house, you don't have to live alone. You can invite your colleague to live with you so that you can cost share. You know what the young man told me? It can't work. It can't work. Because if I buy gas today, my colleague will not buy gas tomorrow. If I pay electricity today, my colleague will not pay electricity tomorrow. Because we cannot live together harmoniously. There is brokenness in relationships everywhere. Brokenness in relationships. And let me tell you, this is what we need to mend
the seer. For he who is now called a prophet was formerly called a seer. So the person who is called a prophet is a person who God uses to give his prophecy, or to tell people what is going to happen, or to tell people what they're supposed to do. So people used to go to a seer. In Isaiah chapter 29, look at this. Isaiah 29, fundi wa mitambo. 29, give me verse 10. Isaiah 29, verse 10. Look at this. For the Lord had poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed where? What? Your eyes. The meaning, umeona full colon hapo mwisho. Meaning the prophets and your rulers, the seers, are covered. So people who do not have eyes means they do not have a prophet amongst them. They don't see. So a church without prophecy is a blind church. So if KUSDA haina prophecy, ni kanisa kipofu. Na kama watu hawapendi prophecy, inamaanisha sasa umefumbwa macho. Look at this in the book of Proverbs 29 verse 18. From Proverbs 29 verse 18. Proverbs 29 verse 18. Then I'll make my point. Where there is no revelation, the people do what? Cast off. Where there is no revelation, church, I'm doing this so that watu wa kulala wasilale. At least ukiongea kulala, huwezi ongea na kulala at the same time. Anasema, where there is no revelation, the people cast off restraint. But happy is he who keeps what? So where there is no revelation, where God does not reveal himself, watu pia hawana break. Where there is no revelation, people are not restrained. So it means they are capable of anything old enough to do. They can do anything they are old enough to do. So when there is revelation, when God speaks through his prophets to his people, then people have restraint. So the children of Israel were doing anything possible. They were doing anything they are old enough to do and receiving the hospitality of the pulpit as it happens today. Now, the name of the church that we are in today is the last church, the seventh church called Laodicea or Laodicea, Kiswahili. Laodicea is the last church in Revelation chapter 3. And this Laodicea, God says it is blind. So it means we are living at a time when the church does not have eyes. We are living at a time when our leaders, sisi mapasta, hatuna macho. Hii kama imeeleweka. Sasa kama hatuna macho, wenye tunaongoza wanaona aje? Nyinyi wote mko hapa ni vipofu. That's what I'm trying to say. Because those who are leading you, vipofu, they are blind. They have cast aside the prophetic message. They have cast aside the prophetic gifts. Eyes are given unto us as a church to see what is going to happen tomorrow. If we do not have eyes today, we are in trouble. You know, let us talk about the events that you know of in prophecy. What events do you know of in prophecy? Yenye unajua hii itakuja kutokea. Or ile yenye ishaitokea, There's very good. The sealing of God's people. Any other? Yes. The 7 plagues. Very good. Any other yenye ishawaitokea? Wewe ndio unajua peke yako? Nini? The 7 trumpets. Anything else that you know maybe iliwaitokea? It was prophecy, but it was fulfilled in the Bible, yes? The great disappointment of 1844. The funny thing is that hapo ndio tutasimamia kwa masomo ya leo. The falling of stars after the 6th seal was opened. The earthquakes after the 6th seal was opened. And of course the earthquakes that are happening today. Which was the last earthquake? Morocco. How many people died? We imagine. Na nimesema neno imagine, underline neno imagine. Imagine earthquake ya that magnitude imetendeka Nairobi. Tuseme tu Githurai Kimbo. Kuna nyumba itabaki juu ya ingine. Kuna jiwe itabaki, na hizi nyumba zinajengwanga. Nyumba ulipita hapa jana ukienda shule. Ukirudi ni ghorofa. Shindwa aje. Zitaisha. So what we are saying is that some of the things that have been mentioned in the Bible as a prophetic message have already been fulfilled. Most of the things that we know of are fulfilling day after day. It also means this, that we who are in church need to be careful to follow the events of the time. We also need to be careful to focus our minds on God as opposed to focusing on things of this earth. If this church, this one I'm saying without any reservation, if this church that is in a college environment where we have young people, if we have mgogoro yoyote ya leadership ama kupigana, we are in a lot of trouble. Why? Nyinyi ndio tuna expect to make changes. We expect that you guys will take the church to the next level where us as older people have failed. So if kama kuna mgogoro kati ya leadership hapa, afadhali hata sijui mkwe suspended na shule. Muende tu nyumbani mkae huko. Because it is a disgrace for young people kupigana when we know very well kwamba wao ndio watabadilisha. And yet, I'm sure that you guys should see the mistakes that we do. So, but because you focus on prophecy, you know the times. So you know that these old people are not seeing the times. Vile naangalia sura, I'm not very far from the truth. Sijui lakini I'm not far from the truth. Nafikiri mko na kaujinga. Kuna kaujinga mahali. Sura tu naona vile watu wengine wanaangaliana. Na kama mko na kaujinga, tunaomba Mungu muwekwe kiboko. Sijui ni gani lakini muwekwe tu kiboko. Mungu angetusaidia. Kusema tu kweli, mimi Mungu angenisaidia tu. Kama Ukristo ingepatikana kwa sindano, ningewatungisha laini hapa. Kila mtu. Yani, ninataka tu watu waende mbinguni. Hamjanielewa yani. I just want people to go to heaven. I hate a situation where people struggle to get positions in church. They want to have leadership and power. I am tired of hearing those things. I just want people to go to heaven. And I know those who are struggling to get power are not going to heaven. That's the unfortunate thing. Now listen to this. There are different kinds of prophecies in the Bible. But when God wants to prophesy something, there are things that he must do. Number one, he must choose a prophet. The first thing that God does is that he chooses a prophet. Number one, he chooses a prophet. Number two, he gives the prophet a message of judgment. So God chooses a prophet, then he gives him a message. But that message is a message of judgment. Then God also suggests a period of time. Umenielewa lakini? Ya kwanza nimesema nini wapendwa? What was the first one? God chooses a prophet. Then he gives the prophet a message of judgment. Number three, he gives a period of time, or he suggests a period of time. Number four, that message to that prophet is not present truth. All messages given to prophets are never present truth to that particular prophet. It means that God gives this prophet a message, but it's something that will happen later. So it's not present truth to that prophet. Munanishika lakini? So God tells Daniel that it will take 2,300 years and the sanctuary shall be cleansed. Was the sanctuary cleansed? Or rather, did that time period elapse during Daniel's time? No. So it is that message that the prophet is given is not present truth to that prophet. Next point. When the time prophecy transpires, or when that period of time expires, God brings another prophet to make that prophecy present truth. So it means that God gives a prophetic message through a prophet, but it doesn't happen at that time. Later, when this prophecy is about to be fulfilled, God chooses another prophet to run through the fulfillment. Menishika sasa? Very good. I'll give examples so mutajua. Another point. So God then, through this prophet, makes that message present truth. So the message that he gave to the other prophet, he chooses another prophet to make the message present truth. So this prophet leads out the fulfillment of the prophecy. I want to give an example. Who was the first prophet in the Bible? Who? Enoch. Wow. Uko juu sana. Uko juu kama mfuko ya shati. Ni ukweli. Enoch is the first prophet. In the book of Jude, verse 14 and 15. Jude, verse 14 and 15. Jude is just one chapter. Jude, verse 14 and 15. Look at what it says. Jude is before Revelation. Kwa wale watatafuta paka kesho. Jude ni before to Revelation hivi, ukifiatuka hivi umefika Revelation. Jude, verse 14 and 15. Anza na 14. Jude, verse 14 and 15. Inasema, now Enoch, the seventh, as in the seventh generation from Adam, prophesied about these men also, saying, so he was a prophet, behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of who? Of his saints, verse 15, to execute judgment on all, to convict all who are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds, which they have committed in an ungodly way, and of all the harsh things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. So God gave this message through Enoch. Let me ask friends, what does this message talk about? Remember, prophecy is a double fulfillment. So what does it talk about? The second advent of Jesus? Correct. But this message also talks about the flood. This message talks about the second coming of Jesus, but it also talks about the flood. Let me give you information of why I know it talks also about the flood. Listen to this. In Genesis chapter 5 verse 21, in Genesis 5:21, hebu angalia Genesis 5:21. Genesis 5:21. Enoch lived how many years? 65 years and begot who? Methuselah. Next. Mshike neno Methuselah. Neno Methuselah. After he begot Methuselah, Enoch walked with God 300 years and had sons and who? And daughters. Sasa ilo neno Methuselah, there are two words. The first word is mut. Hiyo ingine ni shala. Mut shala. Meaning, when he dies, it will come. Ama italetwa. Ama something will happen. Mut shala. When he dies, something will happen. So Methuselah is a name that I'm interested in. Verse 25. Look at verse 25. Verse 25. Look at this. So, and Enoch walked with God, and he was what? He was not. Which means? He became absent. Alichukuliwa. So God took him. So verse 25. Methuselah, now look at this name. Methuselah lived 187 years. Andika mahali 187 years. And begot who? Lamech. So Methuselah lived 187 and begot Lamech. Verse 26. After he begot Lamech, Methuselah lived 782 years and had sons and daughters. So Methuselah lived 187. Ebuenda verse 28, my brother, verse 28. You are not my brother, my son, my son. Lamech lived 182 years. I'm serious when I say my son. This girl learned with my children and she was behind them. Sasa si mimi mzee? Yes, she was behind my children. Alikuwa nyuma, watoto wangu walikuwa mbele yake. Sasa mimi ni nani? Si mnaona hata nyinyi? Mimi ni mzaaji, yani mzazi. Sikia. Lamech lived 182 years and had a son. And he called the son who? So Lamech akipata Noa alikuwa na miaka ngapi? Alikuwa 182. Methuselah alikuwa ameishi miaka ngapi? 187. Chukua 187 plus 182. Sawa? Nipe Genesis chapter 7 verse 11. Look at this. Genesis 7 verse 11. Genesis 7 verse 11 inasema in the how many year? In which year? 600. Sasa mvua ikaanza kunyesha Nuhu akiwa na miaka 600. Sasa chukua 187, ongeza 182, ongeza 600. Ni ngapi? 969. Methuselah aliishi miaka ngapi? Kumbe prophecy ilipokuja kwamba watu hawa watakuwa judge, ilikuwa paka na period of time. Na jina lake lilimaanisha that prophecy itatimia wakati hiyo miaka itafika. So Methuselah himself was baba yake alipopewa prophecy, hiyo prophecy ilikuwa inatimia kupitia kwa miaka ya mtoto wake. So the period of time was there, and then it was also a message of judgment. Now let me ask, did the flood come during Methuselah's time? Najua nilisoma kitu kingine juzi ilinishangaza sasa. Sio juzi juzi like 1 year ago. Najua mimi miaka yangu ni mingi, so juzi can be kitambo. So 1 year ago I read something that Methuselah died 10 days before the flood. Exactly 10 days. When he dies, it will be brought. So 10 days later, mvua ikaanza kunyesha. Na 10 days ndio hii verse later. So Methuselah lived 969 years. God brought a message to a prophet. That message was a message of judgment. It was not present truth during Methuselah's time, during Enoch's time. But God had to raise another prophet to make that message present truth. Who is that prophet? Noah. Munapata syllabus vile Mungu hufanya vitu zake. Let me give you another example. A second example. Let me go to Abraham. Was Abraham a prophet? Ama ni patriarch? In the book of Genesis 20, nafikiri verse 7. Should be verse 7. Genesis 20, verse 7. Inasemaje? You remember when Abraham visited another land and God and met another king called Abimelech. Then he told Abimelech that Sarah is who? His sister. Was Sarah his sister? No, yes, and no. The truth is, Sarah was actually his sister. That is the truth. But when he told Abimelech that Sarah is my sister, that's not what he meant. So his was a half-truth. So a half-truth is 100% lie. Mjanielewa. Uongo nusu ni 100% uongo. Sasa he said Sarah is his sister. Nieke verse 7. 20 verse 7. Now therefore restore the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you shall live. But if you do not restore her, know that you shall surely die, you and all who are yours. Hii Biblia ni King James. Ni New King James. Okay, sawa. Elewa kwa nini neno natafuta siioni. So he was a prophet. That verse ukisoma nafikiri King James inasema that man is a prophet. So God gave him a message in Genesis 15 verse 13. Genesis 15 verse 13. Genesis chapter 15 verse 13. What does God say through Abraham? And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. So God is telling Abraham that your people will be strangers in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them. How many years? How many years? Wala wameanza usingizi. Miaka ngapi? 400 years. Listen to this. So God gave him a message of judgment, an information that will not happen during his time. So God told him that his seed, who are the children of Israel, will stay in a foreign land for 400 years. Let me ask, was this message present truth to Abraham? It was not. Did God raise up another prophet during that time? What is his name? Moses. So see how God does things? He raises up a prophet, he gives the prophet a message, and that prophet, it's not present truth at his time. Then later he raises up another prophet who makes that prophecy, or rather who makes the prophecy present truth. So Moses, in Hosea chapter 12 verse 13, Hosea 12 verse 13, God confirms that Moses is a prophet. And by a prophet, the Lord brought Israel out of Egypt. And by a prophet was he what? Preserved. So God brought another prophet to make this present truth. Let's go to a third one. Ule mwenye namaliza na ndio wa maana. Ule namaliza na ndio mtu nimetafuta tangu tuanze hiki kitu. So mngojee kwa sababu ninamaliza hata sikai. Sikuangi mtu akukaa sana by the way. Najua mapasta husema nikimaliza na anahubiri tena, akifika tena 30 minutes nikimaliza, unashindwa boss. Hii kumaliza yako ni aishi ya mwisho ni gani? Ama anasema kwaya imeimba kila kitu yenye nilikuwa nihubiri. Alafu anahubiri wanao, unashindwa boss. Si ulisema kwaya imeshasema kitu nahubiri. Sasa useme dakika 5 tupumzike. Now, the third one, Jeremiah 25. Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 11 and 12. Jeremiah 25, verse 11 and 12. Look at this. And this whole land, the land of Judah or Israel, this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment. And this nation shall serve the king of Babylon. How many years? 70 years. Angalia verse 12. Look at this. Verse 12. And it shall come to pass when 70 years are accomplished that I will punish the king of where? Is this a message of judgment? Hey, is this a message of judgment? Yes. Who is the message being delivered to? Jeremiah. Question is it present truth to Jeremiah? It is not. So these guys are taken into captivity. In fact, God even mentions, read verse 9, God even mentions who he is going to send. Angalia verse 9, anasema, Behold, I will send, and all the families of the north, said the Lord. And Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant. By this time, Nebuchadnezzar was even not yet born. This is many, many years before Nebuchadnezzar was born. God mentions him by name. So it was not present truth during Jeremiah's time. My question is, did this come to pass? Were they taken into captivity? Did God raise up another prophet to make it present truth? Who was the prophet? Daniel. Mazee kama umefloat tangu nianze mpaka saa hii. Sijui umerogwa na nani. Jumazee nimejaribu sana. Hata nimeongea kizungu throughout. Maajabu. Sasa sikia, kumbe God will come up with a prophet. And listen to this. Look at Daniel chapter 9 verse 1 and 2. Daniel chapter 9 verse 1 and 2. This is how God confirms his message, because whatever he says must come to pass. In the first year of Darius, the son of Ahasuerus, of the seed of the Medes, which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans, in the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by books. Which book is he talking about? Jeremiah, by books, the number of the years whereof the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah the prophet, that he will accomplish how many years? 70 years. Was it present true to Daniel? Yes, it was. But it didn't happen during Daniel's time. Mnaweza niambia amen kufika hapo? Nimejaribu. Si mnaona vile nimengangana nayo? Maza hii mic ndio inaniangusha, ndio naona napiga siasa. Ni hii mic. Ama nitumie hii ya sengenge? Ukiona inanisumbua mnaniambia chukue ingine. Hai, thank you very much. God bless you. Mungu akubariki ukitoka hii college upate kazi mzuri, mke mzuri. Hiyo mwisho ndio shida siku hizi. Now, when this happened, there was a king called Darius and his cousin called Cyrus. They dried up the river Euphrates yenye inaipitia katikati ya Babylon. Na Babylon ikaanguka. So the judgment that God promised ikafanyika. Kwamba will punish Babylon, that judgment came to pass. And Babylon ikavamiwa. Ushaisikia hao sasa walikuwa vikali. Hadi wakaona mto, yani Babylon was fortified, my friend. The city was built na ukuta ilikuwa pana, two cats can rest on top of it. Zinaweza rest na zika overtakeana na ni ukuta. Lakini iliingiwa na gates zilikuwa za brass. Sasa wakaona hawezi ingia hii city. Wakaenda wakaona juu kuna river Euphrates na kati ya city. Sasa hii naye nimefunga. Kuna watu wanatorokanga na maji. Sasa juu hii bado iko down. Hii ndio iko na uvuvio. Hii iko na Ukristo kidogo. Sikia. Juu sasa walikuwa wame city yani vinoma yani cheki. Sasa wakaamua wakaenda wakachimba mto, wakachange course ya mto. Ushaisikia watu wako na ujuzi kama hiyo. Wakachange course ya mto ulikuwa unapita tao, mto ukadry, sasa mto ukaenda side nyingine. Na hiyo siku al-dry mto, sasa siku yenyewe alitoboa sasa ndio aanze kwenda hivyo. Huku tao wase walikuwa wamepewa gauge mbaya. Watu walikuwa wanakunywa pombe kila mtu. Paka wanajeshi walikuwa wanakunywa pombe, kila mtu alikuwa mlevi. So walipokamuita hao haikuwa na mtu anatembea straight. Hata masoja wenyewe walikuwa toa hapa. Wanaangalia nini wewe kwenda. Unakaa uko na bunduki utaua nani wewe? Anawekwa risasi tu, hakukuwa na risasi, najaribu tu kusema. Sasa sasa waliuawa wote, jamaa wakachukua tao yote, paka mfalme akajikojolea. Bible imeandika by the way. Mfalme alijikojolea. Mfalme aliinua mkono anasema Mungu hapo. Mkono ikakuja kwa ukuta imekaandika mene tekeli na peresi. Umepimwa na umepatikana hauna kilo. Ikamnaniela. Na leo ndio hivyo na nyoria. Hivyo ndiye alikufa. Town ikachukuliwa. So Babylon was punished. But let me also bring my last part that I wanted you to hear of. This same Daniel in the same chapter 9 from verse 24, God tells him this from verse 24. God says this, chapter 9 from verse 24. Listen to this message. Hapa ndio namalizia. Nikimaliza, chapter 9 verse 24. Inasema, 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint who? The Most High. Although anointing the Most High kwangu mimi naona ni kama ni obsolete kwa sababu Yesu ni anointed tayari. Sikuelewa vile tena inasema anoint the Most High. Anyway, it's just me. But sasa inasema kumbe the Most High sasa ata nini? Atapaa. Verse 25 ina breakdown tena. Inasema know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem, unto Messiah the prince shall be 7 weeks. Alafu anasema and 62 weeks. Now this is the message. God is telling Daniel, giving him a message that is not present truth at that time. Daniel helped to fulfill the prophecy yenye ilikuwa imetoka nyuma. But later, then God tells him also that prophecy ilikuwa ya Jeremiah. But yeye pia akapewa tena prophecy ya siku zijazo. He was told that there will come what? That the children of Israel have a time period that has been determined upon them. Then he says this, 70 weeks have been determined upon your people. So 490 years has been determined upon your people. But before the 490 ends, the last 7 years, the Messiah will do something. In the middle of the last 7 years, in the middle, 3.5 years after the Messiah is baptized, 3.5 years in the middle, the Messiah will be cut off, he will be killed. But when he is killed, ataishiliza sadaka ya kuteketeza, which means you will no longer sacrifice animals. And then he tells him that 70 weeks have been determined, 490. Let me ask, one day in the book of Matthew 18 verse 20, there was a guy called Peter who asked Jesus, if somebody errs against me, how many times should I do it? Forgive him. Yesu alimwambia nini? 70 times? Hiyo ni namba ngapi? Do you know what Jesus was telling him? Yesu alikuwa anamwambia wewe acha wewe. Nyinyi wana wa Israeli tumewapea grace period ya 490 years. Na anajua Petro anakumbuka. Alikuwa anamrifaa kwa Daniel. Alikuwa anamwambia wewe si mmesamehewa mlipewa 490 years. Ndio unaona Petro aliposema hivyo, Petro aliongea tena. Kierere ilikatikia hapo. Sikia, sasa kumbe 490 years are determined. But the last week, the Messiah will be cut off. Then they have another 3.5 years. Ya nini? Ya reconciliation. You know, there was a time Jesus went to a tree. That tree ilikuwa fig tree. Ama pastor ukiuliza watakwambia fig trees haikuwa inatoa matawi kwanza. Maajabu ya huo mti. Fig tree inatoa matunda kwanza alafu matawi. Hata leo. What does it mean? When you see leaves, you know that there are fruits. Kumbe hii fig tree iko tu na matawi na majani, lakini haina nini? Haina matunda. It only had leaves, but it did not have fruits. Does that explain the condition of our church today? Yes. So many people in our church have watched the outside, but the inside, ukimwangalia hivi anakaa Mkristo na ni nyang'au. Hamjanielewa. That is the problem that we have. People wanangangana, ukivaa nguo fupi wanakuletea shida. Ukivaa kipuli wanakuletea shida. Hata wewe ni mgeni hujui story ya kipuli. Sasa mtu wa Jumapili akija hapa amevaa kipuli, mnaanza kumwangalia na macho mbaya. Shida si kipuli. Mpeleke kwa Yesu kwanza. Akishapata Yesu ndiye atamfunza atavaa aje. Wewe kwani nani alikuchagua OCS hapa? Na kanisa imejaa ma-OCS, watu wako hivi tu. Kimutu kilikuja tu church kimeng'ara, kiko na bow tie, lakini kinatafuta tu watu wenye makosa. Wewe boss, ngangana na uzima wa milele. Utakosa uzima wa milele ukitafuta Pharisees kwa kanisa. Msiposeme amen mmerogwa. Hiyo ni point. Wewe na tusizoeane by the way. Nikisema point mnasema amen. Nini siwezi kuja hapa wiki mzima nimeacha kazi yangu na hakuna amen. Ama kama amen zenu za siri nitumieni kwa WhatsApp. Kila mtu anitumie amen zikifuatana. So Jesus alipoona huo mti unajua alisema nini? Akasema ukatwe. Mtu akasema niachie mti huu miezi ngapi? Niachie mti huu miaka 3 niulime nifanye kila kitu alafu ukuje tena. Do you know what it meant? Jesus was saying, you Israelites are like this fig tree. Mko tu na matawi, mnaonekana wa Kristo wasafi, lakini hamna matunda. Sasa I'm going to work with you for 3 years. if you don't give fruits for after 3 years, you will be cut off. Ndio maana baada ya miaka mitatu Israeli ikavamiwa. Miaka mitatu ikiisha, Mungu akawaacha. Baadaye ndiye aka-announce kwamba hapa kutakuwa na desolation. Ndio AD 70 wakavamiwa. Listen to this. Kwamba hiyo 490 ilipoisha wakapiga Stefano mawe. Neema ikaondoka, Mungu akawahama. Ndio maana Waluya pia wakapata injili. Injili ikaenda kwa mataifa. Hallelujah. Injili ikaenda kwa mataifa. Ndio sisi pia tukachipuka. Tuko na Mungu wengi lakini tulichipuka anyway. Sikia nimalize hii story. Nimesema nimalize mara ngapi? Kama mara 3, si ndio? Bado moja. Sikia. Sasa this 490 bado kuna ingine ndio ifike 2300. Mnakumbuka? Kwa sababu Daniel chapter 8 verse 14 nasema, unto 2300 nights and days and the sanctuary shall be cleansed. Kumbe bado ilikuwa ifike huko. Swali, ni nani amepewa hii prophecy? Who is the prophet? Daniel. Is it present truth to him? Do you think God raised up another prophet after 2300 years to make the prophecy present truth? Who is that prophet? Ellen G. White. Each prophecy has a fulfilling prophet. That's why Ellen G. White, when you read the book Early Writings, almost all the visions that she received, ilikuwa ina explain the sanctuary message. Because the Millerite movement did not understand the message. They actually got something right and something wrong. They got the timing right, but the event was wrong. So God brought up Ellen G. White to explain what was happening. That's why those early writing messages zilikuwa zina explain the sanctuary. Explaining why there was 2300, what was supposed to happen, that baadaye ndio wakakuja wakaonyesha kumbe the king was getting from the holy place to the holy of holies. Alafu ndio Revelation chapter 10 nasema you will prophesy again. Yakamwambia msikufe moyo, hubirini tena. But do you know something? Only 40 people remained. Hawa watu wengine walikuwa disappointed wakaacha. The movement was almost crippled, but 40 people remained behind. And amongst these 40 people walikuwa kina James White. So amongst them watu walibaki 40, ndio Mungu akakuja kwa mmoja wao akamuelezea akasema, wewe angalia juu. The king alihama akaenda from the holy place to the holy of holies. Ndio ilifanyika, haikuwa dunia kuisha. Ndio akakimbia kwa wenzake akamwambia, wewe mliniacha nyuma bana, nimeonyeshwa nini? Nimeonyeshwa vision. And after being shown the vision, this is what the explanation was. This is the explanation that I was given. Then they understood. And that is how this church was birthed. That is how the Seventh-day Adventist Church ilianza. Hallelujah. Do you feel me? But remember also that after the disappointment, many people came up with other movements. Let me give an example. Do you remember Karl Marx? The Marxist theory. Kuna mtu amesoma Marxism, watu wa baba amenituma. Si mnajua hiyo BA, anything BA lazima mnajua. Kama ulisoma anthropology, criminology, sociology, lazima umesoma Marxism. So Marxism pia ikakuja. Kuna jamaa anaitwa Abdul Baha akaleta kanisa inaitwa the Baha'i. So many people came up with different beliefs. Mormons wakakuja na ule jamaa wa Scotland anaitwa Joseph Smith. Watu walikuwa disappointed, kila mtu anasema hapana basi tufomu yetu. Basi kila mtu anatokea na kakitu. Shetani akahakikisha hii movement ya Mungu ya 40 people wamebaki haina nguvu. But God still worked through them. Until now tuko na kanisa. Kesho ninaanzia hapo tena. Kuna maneno sasa mazuri ile yenye hamutachoka sana vile mnachoka leo. But has somebody understood anything today? Mkono juu. You have, Very good. If you have, also do this. If you have any question, kindly you write the question on a piece of paper. You give one of the leaders, alafu nikikuja hapa ninapewa. We will also endeavor to answer questions. Pastors, ninawaomba tu pia to save some time ya kujibu maswali ya hawa vijana, so that tusikuja hapa na tunatoka tu na wanakona maswali ya Biblia. No, we must answer those questions, tusaidie Mary, so that hata tukitoka pia wanakuwa na wako na faida, and they can also answer those people who are outside. Hata kama ni health, uliza hata swali ya health. Usiende tu konje unasema na mnatulazimisha kukula maharagwe kwa nini? Hapana, uliza sawa. Najua kuna watu hapa umelelewa kwa ndengu, lakini uliza, tutakueleza kwa nini wewe uko university. Maybe hiyo ndengu ndio ilikuleta hapa. Sijui kama mnanielewa. Najua watoto ya pastor wameumia sana. Watoto wetu wameumia. Wamelishwa ndengu mpaka wanakaa ndengu. Sisemi wewe. Ukikohoa ndengu inatokea kwa mapua. Yaani uko na ndengu kila mahali. But I'm saying just ask those questions. Tutachangamkia na tutajibu maswali. Hallelujah. Tusimame. Let's all stand up so that shake kidogo. Choristers mko wapi? Njooni hapa mbele. Choristers, come up front. Let's sing song number 532. 532, Day by Day. Mnangoja piano ama tuanze?
Day by day and with each passing moment, sing. Day by day and with each passing moment, strength I find to meet my trials here. Trusting in my Father's wise bestowment, I've no cause for worry or for fear. He whose heart is kind beyond all measure, gives unto each day what he deems best. Lovingly, it's part of pain and pleasure, mingling toil with peace and rest. Every day the Lord himself is near me, with a special mercy for each hour. All my cares he fain would bear and cheer me, he whose name is Counselor and Power. The protection of his child and treasure is a charge that on himself he laid. As your days, your strength shall be in measure. This the pledge to me he made. Help me then in every tribulation, so to trust thy promises, O Lord, that I lose not faith's sweet consolation, offered me within thy holy word. Help me, Lord, when toil and trouble meeting, and to take us from the Father's hand. One by one, the days, the moments fleeting, till I reach the promised land.
Baba wetu, tunakutukuza na kukusifu kwa kuwa ni wewe ni mwenye rehema kwetu. Tunakushukuru kwa kutupenda upeo na ukatujalia nafasi kusikiza neno lako. Tunakuomba kwamba kwa uwezo wa Roho Mtakatifu akaliandike neno hili katika mioyo yetu. Akatupe uwezo tukalitende, na akatupe uwezo Mungu wetu kwamba maisha yetu tunapofuata neno hili yakang'ae na iwe ndoano ya kuwavuta waliomo gizani kuja katika mwanga wako wa milele. Mungu wetu, tunaombea hawa watoto wetu walio hapa, ukawajalie nafasi katika ufalme wako. Lakini wakiwa hapa duniani waongoze na kuwashika mkono, kwamba kila uchao na kila waendako wakao kivutio kikubwa kwa wengine, ili wengi wakakutamani wewe kupitia kwao. Tunatamani kwamba kanisa hili likajae watu ambao hawakujui, ili waje pia wakaweze kumega mkate huu kabla siku za mwisho zifike. Tunaombea mchungaji wa eneo hili, ukamjalie nafasi ya kufanya kazi yako ikupendezavyo wewe, na ukampe uwezo wa kuliinua jina lako katika kila jambo. Mpe hekima ya kulinda watoto wako, na wote wakawe kama watoto wa kuku, wa vifaranga wa kuku, akawashike katika mabawa yake. Baba wetu, pia tunaomba kwamba wiki hii yote ikawa mibaraka kwa watoto wetu na kwetu sisi. Kabariki watumishi wako wote uliowateua kuwaleta kufanya kazi hii, na wote ukawatumie kama vyombo. Weka neno lako katika vinywa vyetu, na rehema zako zikatuonekanie. Jioni ya leo na hata milele, jina lako lisifiwe na litukuzwe, tukiomba katika jina la Yesu aliye Bwana na mwombezi wetu. Amen.
Let's sing song 526 as we welcome James for an item.
They called him Jesus. He came to love, heal and forgive. He lived and died because he lives. All fear is gone because I know a newborn baby and feel the pride and joy he gives, but greater still the calm assurance this child can face tomorrow because he lives. All fear is gone because I know, yes I know, he holds my future, and life is worth the living just because he lives.
Furahani mwake Bwana.
sujudu